Anyway, let's quickly go into this. So what Blue Arc is in terms of media and focus, and I'll quickly talk about that to start with this. Today we concentrate as a storage provider. And what I mean by storage provider is we offer high performance storage into film, television, games, and certainly advertising and things like publishing as well. So some of the talks that you've heard today downstairs in the intro, some of those people absolutely use Blue Arc in their work for storing data. Some interesting things also around here at the moment is if you look at the markets, things are accelerating. We've seen such a push. Content is everything. So many people, if you look at this for example, channels, TV for example, if you look at all these, Discovery, NBC, BBC, all are either launching channels or putting more and more emphasis on putting better quality and content into the channels that they have. If you look at people like BBC, and I'll talk about them later, they're a customer, they use Blue Arc down in BBC Wales. And basically, one of the things that they said to me is, our whole media market that we deal with is about making sure that content is applicable to the audience and making sure that content has assets and it's stored correctly and it's reliably ingested into our system. The other thing which is quite interesting at the moment is the networking piece. Everybody wants faster internet access. Everyone got internet access at home? Yeah, what speed is your internet?
It's very slow.
Very slow. Has anyone got fast broadband?
It says it is.
Allegedly up to those famous words, up to X number of megabits per second. There's a big push. Yeah, who do you think actually uses BBC iPlayer?
Sorry.
Yeah, anyone use BBC iPlayer? I watch BBC iPlayer. All the rest of it. Content on the internet is becoming king, and you're actually seeing more and more distribution channels. Apple TV, millions and millions of dollars has been invested into people like Apple TV, and that's all around the content and the network. Viewing modes. Who watches films on their phone? Who's got an iPhone? Who watches rich content on their iPhone? Yeah? Quite a lot. That's good. I quite like that. So absolutely, if you look at viewing modes today, everybody is mobile, everybody wants access to rich content on their devices. If you look at it, iOS 5 just come out in the Apple market, it's got more and more rich media features, and that's all around content. And probably the thing that I'm going to be talking about today is things like the delivery, the formats, and the devices as well. So we talk about storage and how storage is really important around those devices. Okay? The other thing is, who owns an iPad in the room? Yeah? So you're getting lots of people. Oh, you've got one as well?
I know I will do at the end of the day.
So basically, if you look at the market at the moment, thanks Tony, if you look at the market at the moment, all of those things I've been talking about fit into these things. They use transcoding, and I'll talk about what transcoding is with you guys in a minute. Rendering, hopefully we'll cover off what rendering is and what Blue Arc does with rendering. We're going to cover off things like file transfer, moving data and content. And we'll talk about how some of our customers use Blue Arc to do that. And then you've got the archival, a big topic, archival. If I come to you guys and say, right, you've got your film stored on your iPhone, I want you to delete half of your films or whatever content you've got on your iPhone. Your normal reaction is no. Yeah? Most devices, and I bet I could pick your phone up, you'd find they're about 50-60% full. And some people ran them right up to 99% full. There's never enough storage. I mean, is yours full?
Yeah.
How full?
All 32 GB is full.
Absolutely chocolate. Yeah, 16 gig, 32 gig, 64 gig, next generation of 4. We talk about things where some of our customers use archival products from Blue Arc to store their data in their workflow because they never want to delete anything. We talk about assets. So what is driving all this rich digital content? And it's pretty straightforward actually. If you look at the codes, everyone recognise some of these numbers? Coding numbers, yeah? In the old days, I remember when 720p first came out, it was, oh, 720p, look at the resolution. And we're all round in the arm monitor, we're all scanning it, we're all excited. This is the future, I don't need anything better than 720p. Along came out 1080p. PlayStation 3 was one of the first ones to really launch some good quality content on 1080p. Progressive. Yeah, and then literally, if you look at digital cinema, I don't know if you're familiar with 2K and 4K streams. Okay, Blue Arc does play in storing these content, these large contents of 2K and 4K streams and playback. So I'll talk about where we fit into that. Is everyone fairly clear on this sort of stuff? You've seen these numbers before? Yeah. Anyone got any questions? Who do you think 3D is going to be successful?
No.
Yeah. No? Yes? Millions of pounds are going to go into 3D. I'm the sort of 50-50 person. I sort of love certain movies in 3D, and I absolutely hate the reworked movies in 3D. You know, absolutely shocking. You know, people, oh, look at that, it's sort of blurred in the corner. You know, that doesn't work. Where we fit, if you look at these storage trends today, this is quite exciting for me, is you're seeing that 4K streams are out. So when you go to the next range of digital cinemas, you'll see 4K frames being squirted out of a projector. We're looking at stereoscopic 3D. Again, I haven't got time to cover here. But these are the things that Blue Arc gets involved with some of our customers. Motion capture. Anyone know what motion capture is? Yeah? Virtual production. Workflows. Virtual movie making and particular rendering. One of our customers out in Sweden, a really, really good customer, spends a lot of money on rendering things like fur and animation. You've got polar bears and things like that are animated, and I'll give you some examples of that. And that's a really good example where every frame can take 6 and 7 hours to render against. And they use Blue Arc to do that. So where do we fit in? Well, it's normally the bottlenecks in a VFX studio type thing. You'll probably recognise some of these areas. If you actually look here at the moment, you have artists. Yeah, that's all very, very good. You have a thing called a render farm. Everyone know what a render farm is? I hope so, otherwise we're in the wrong place. Yeah? So you have a render farm, you have the output, and you have obviously compositing, and then basically you have different storage tiers inside that workflow. Looking at this, Blue Arc actually plays as a storage provider for doing these type of things. So we can actually fit in data storage in a primary location. So people will actually use render farms on Blue Arc. We can actually use Blue Arc as a storage provider for tiering data. So an asset goes into this workflow, it hasn't been touched for 30 days. You don't want that on your fast spinning disks, you want that on slower, deeper archival disks. And Blue Arc can automatically tear that down through here. Backup. How many people in this room have lost data at home? Why? Didn't back it up? Not important? Backup didn't work. I love that one. Yeah, we have a little lecture. I backed it up, but it never worked, right? But the green light told me it was backed up. Sorry. The backup this time. So there's lots of solutions on the market where products don't work, and that's probably okay for you guys. You can just recreate or download the content that you have. Yeah. If you've got a company that's dealing with large blockbuster films that use technology and storage, you can't say, I'm so sorry we've lost half the feature, we'll come back in 2 years' time to do that. Yeah, the company and studio will be out of business. And we know lots of people that talk about data availability. So Blue Arc offers extremely good data availability. We pride ourselves on having what we call zero data loss. We'll get to zero data loss. Okay? You can't lose data. It's got a rich asset value. So BBC Wales is one I just thought I'd put up a random customer. Everyone watch Crime Watch, those sort of things? Yeah, they do a lot of adaptations, they do lots of this. They're a good old customer of ours, and they're expanding their archive at the moment. And they use Blue Arc as a storage tier for doing what they call ingest and rushes. Yeah? So what they do is they have camera crews going out, they're taking live shots out in the field. That's actually stored to big memory cards. And basically what they'll do is upload to Blue Arc as a central repository, basically those daily shots. Okay? The value to them is, once it gets onto the Blue Arc system, the storage system that we offer, it's really exciting because they know then they can start again, if they lose data on that camera, or if something happens, a technical problem happens, they know they've got that in their workflow. The other thing that you can imagine is as you're uploading lots and lots of stuff, this is not a very good picture, can you see that at the back? Okay, squint, and it doesn't make it any better, but you can see a little bit of that. If you actually look at how the BBC use it, they will actually ingest the data in. The next thing they do, any idea what the next, once they've ingested it in, what they do next? The storage system. They put some markings, they put some information about where the clip was taken, what type of shot size it is, where that fits in the sequence. They start to put intelligence around that clip. Okay? And that starts into the workflow, and then that goes out, and then the final thing is the production you see on the TV or a fire player today. The key thing of why they bought Blue Arc was really straightforward. They said it's reliable, it's sustainable in terms of performance compared to the competition. So as I load more and more data on, the performance is linear, and it actually grows into that, and it's easy to use. I don't have to worry, I don't have to have a complex group of people managing my data. I can actually have a single interface from Blue Arc, and it just manages it for me. They put it in, they upload it. The guys that are actually making the money for BBC, the people, the cameramen, the people actually in front of the camera, that's the asset. The data is just as important, but they don't want a team of people managing that data. So that's where we fit in here. And there's a lot of things about storage and workflows, and I can give you these slides at the end, or I can email them to you if you want to have a look at them.
So how do we get those slides then?
If you give me a business card with the details, I'll mail these out to you for the ones you see. So what is Blue Arc and why are we different compared to everybody else? This is a very boring slide, I'm sorry to put it up, but it gives you an idea of what we're trying to do is, if you look at storage today, we talked about it, you've lost data at home. It's a spinning disk. You go to the PC world, you buy your MacBook, it's got a solid state disk in it, and it's just one disk. If you actually look when you first get your MacBook or your PC, what happens? It all feels quite good, it's clean, there's not a lot of software on there, it seems to run okay. What happens after 30 days? It slows down. Why does it slow down? Any ideas? Bloatware. Yeah, oh, that looks good, I'll download that. Oh, that looks good, I'll download that. My iPad's full, I'm the same on a 64 gig iPad, it's constantly on red, I'm downloading content. The problem is, that's a problem for people in the audience, but really when you're dealing with a workflow for a company, that's unacceptable. As you add content, you don't want the performance of the storage to go down. So what Blue Arc offers is a appliance, we call it an appliance, a bit like your router you have at home that connects to your DSL line, which allows you to store content. And the key thing about Blue Arc, it uses a technology called FPGA, so I haven't got time to discuss what that is. But if you can imagine, it's a device that allows you to stick data onto it. As I add more data, as long as I have enough disks at the back of this device, the performance stays flat. So what does that really mean? A, it's measurable. B, it's very reliable. And C, I know as I add data into my workflow, I know at a certain time that data, if I'm doing rendering, for example, will finish that job. So moving swiftly on. So this is what we do. Traditional servers, you can go buy a network attached storage server today, and then you can actually build your own. Free NAS, you can go build a PC, you can stick some network attached storage on it. The problem with that is it slows down as it gets full. With Blue Arc, the performance stays the same. It's a solid state device. Right, let's move on actually. So what do we also have inside this Blue Arc Magic Box? Well, we do a thing called virtualization. Anyone heard of virtualization? VMware, Hyper-V. This is taking things like applications, and this is actually putting them into a virtualized environment. And Blue Arc does exactly the same with virtualizing storage. So I can have different parts of my company having different parts of the storage and being divided up and virtualized. So you could have a section of our storage, you could be working away, the performance will be great. You could have a section, you could be working away, and it's completely anonymous to each other, it's part of that company, but it's all centrally stored. The backup is going on centrally, things like replication are going on centrally. So it allows you to virtualize and break up the storage into segments and actually distribute that amongst the company you work with. Data management. This is a good question. Anyone know what data management is? I had someone say the management of data.
Yeah, where you put your information, files.
Yeah, files. What am I doing? What is it? Have I got a file that's my CV that's really important, or I've got something that someone sent me as a joke? What's the most important thing? What asset is more important? So data management is important for companies. If you take, for instance, people like Sony and people like that we deal with, they talk about data management. This asset has much better value or bigger value compared to something else that someone's just playing around with. Yeah? So what we do at Blue Arc, we put these things called policies, and I know we spent hours on this study, don't we, talking about policies with customers. So you can store a file on our Blue Arc NAS system, you can put a policy on that system and say, this file moves from high performance storage, and then after 30 days, if no one has touched that file, we'll move it to a slower tier of storage on a much cheaper set of disks. Okay? To the end user in the company, nothing has changed. Yeah? So if I went out to you now and said, right, I wanted to delete stuff off your home drive or home PC, or I don't want to delete anything, I'll just keep filling it. So what this allows companies to do using data management is tier their storage, and they call this data tier. Okay? The most important thing, nothing has changed. The last one, data protection. We talked about this already. Assets have a value. If I'm working away at a company and they're doing lots of rendering and that film shot's coming out in 2 weeks' time for an advert, that has a value. And actually, as the end of it, when the customer is actually being delivered this shot, the most important thing about data protection is making sure the day before we deliver it that they do actually still have that on the storage device. Nothing's gone wrong, nothing's gone bang on the storage device. We have a backup of that. We have things like antivirus scan. You know, someone put a file on there the day before the shot was going out the door and it's broken the system. So we have things like antivirus scanning partners we integrate in. And replication, lots of our customers replicate data. Okay, so what they do is they have a main site where all their production is going on, and they will replicate that to a third-party site somewhere else, geographically maybe up the road, or it could be 100 kilometres away, or it could be at the other side of the world. Yeah? The reason is if something goes bang, environmentals, water comes through the machine room, they have a second copy of their data. So what do you think most people use for data protection today? To back up. So I'm backing up something, what do I normally use? Tape? Yeah, tape backups. Yeah, maybe another copy to another hard disk. So what we do at Blue Arc, we have the ability to obviously simply manage things like snapshots, which are point-in-time copies of your data, replication, and also the ability to back up to tape from the device while the data is still being used. Well, that's good. Right. So we had a customer the other day and they were doing lots of rendering jobs. The first thing they said to me is we'll do rendering across lots of data storage devices. And they looked at this is what they typically have, a thing called NAS sprawl, network attached storage sprawl. So these boxes are a bit like your disks you get in your PC at home, imagine. And basically, as they've grown their storage, they've added more disks. The problem with this is each one of these takes up management, time, power, environmentals, everyone's going green. Yeah? Whereas we do consolidate all this down and actually put it behind two of these simple network attached storage heads. Okay? So Blue Arc is a storage provider that allows you to consolidate down footprint and power. Anyone done any of this stuff? Yeah? Rendering? Anyone done? Hey, fantastic. Backpack. So, one of the things I love talking about at Blue Arc is rendering. We have a lot of customers. Anyone heard of Framestore?
Yeah.
Cinesight?
Yeah.
Yeah? Double negative?
Yeah.
Yeah? So they are Blue Arc customers. Why do they buy Blue Arc? Because rendering is their key thing. They render lots of jobs through their workflows. They go through lots of things like this, like textures and lighting and all the rest of the stuff that happens with rendering. The reason they use Blue Arc at the back end is this predictability. They know when we start to render, yeah, it's going to take X number of hours or weeks or even minutes to complete because the storage is a linear process. The other things that we do is some of the ones in the US. I don't know if you want to see any of this stuff. The Lorax, McGuff in Paris, big studio at the moment. They're growing. Very, very nice customer. District 9 in the US as well. There's another big customer of ours. And there's loads and loads of films. If you go to the Blue Arc website, you can actually see things like Avatar, you know, down in Weta. Everyone know the Weta? I hope so. I'm definitely talking to an audience if you haven't. Basically, they're a big customer of Blue Arc as well. So all the big names use Blue Arc as their storage. Now, really, what I've been talking about already today, and I'm starting to push for time, is we're very, very simple to put into people's environments. So if you go to studios and they're using and they're struggling with storage, people say, crumbs, you know, we can't seem to get rendering to complete in time, and we need the job out the door. We're having trouble, we lost data because we never backed it up. So we have issues with performance and scalability, so I'm going off to buy some more stuff with PC Work. It's not really the best way to do it. Blue Arc offers really, really good consolidation, what they call total cost of ownership. We offer really simple management of the data between tiers of data and things like replication. And we also offer the highest performance in our class, which is really cool. Numbers. Anyone recognise these numbers? Probably not. Anyone know what a petabyte is? Yeah, 1,000 terabytes. Thank you. Fantastic. So our baby entry system starts and scales to 4 petabytes. Not bad, eh? not too bad. And if you look at our sort of high-end Titan, 3200, we can scale to 16 petabytes. So people like Weta Digital, I mean, they have, gosh, I can't remember how many petabytes. They've got 5 petabytes of storage. So Weta, the next generation of movies coming out, you can search what they are. They're using BlueArc and using petabytes and petabytes of storage for rendering. Fantastic stuff. The most important thing that they always talk to us about is performance. If I can render my sequences quicker, what does that mean? Complete the job quicker, get the money in the door. It's about money. Yeah, I can go to the studio and say I produce this in a much quicker time. They can get that out to the cinema, they can get it and make box office money from this. So performance is key, and there's this term called ops, IOPS, if anybody's ever interested, we can cover that as well. The last one, if you look at these, is 14 of the leading edge studios use BlueArc for rendering. Yeah? Anyone recognise these other names? BTV, London, Blue Sky Studios, very, very big. Yeah? So what I wanted to do with this slide was just put up very, very quickly in the end is some of the studios that actually use BlueArc as their storage. And one I quite like talking about is one called Durand over in Paris. Really, really good bunch of guys, great technical guys. They love their technology, and they started off, and they used to have these like Power Dell storage devices, which were sort of homegrown, and they basically struggled with these forever. And I remember the guy saying, we've been up at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get our rendering jobs to complete in time, and they couldn't do that. So BlueArc came in, we put one of our boxes in, and as they said, the rest is history. It's been fantastic. Really, really see benefit. They've got their productions out the door quicker. There are artists, people like you that will become artists in the future, love it, because guess what? They can do more shots. It's all about shots, isn't it? The more iterations you can do, the better. Am I wrong? Yeah, right, yeah. Oh, I'm going to render the scene, put a few light sources in. I'll go and get a cup of coffee. No. I'm render the scene, I want it now. I know exactly what I'm doing. I want to do a few walkthroughs. Some of the other ones as well that are quite good. CineSite, down the road. We might get to the Prince of Persia, the usual sort of stuff, Nutcracker, Harry Potter, all done on BlueArc. But no one knows about BlueArc. Everyone knows about CineSite and Harry Potter, but no one understands the storage at the back end. And we are a vital component for the VFX field in this space. Moving on. People talk to me about, so why is BlueArc any different in terms of costs? And I know it's probably the audience talking about costs. If you can take anything away from today is by consolidating down your storage in an environment using BlueArc and having good linear performance, it will save you money. Yeah? If I have 3 racks of storage in a data center, that costs me X. If I can reduce that from 3 racks down to 1 rack, number 1, it's cheaper to run. Number 2, less things to go wrong. Number 3, if I actually look at that rack and I do want to expand, it gives me better footprint. So environmentals, not just performance, are important. Other customers, last one. Does anyone use these products? Flame Luster? Ever heard of them? I remember going to this place once, I put the slide up, and I said, does anybody not recognise any of these products?
I can't see them. Yeah, I can't read it.
Oh, you can't read it? I'll read them out to you. Okay, sorry. Use Flame, Luster, Maya, 3ds? Yeah? Yeah, maybe? 3D Max, Smoke. Yeah, if you're in this sort of game and you're looking at things like rendering, these are the customers I'll give you a set of slides that use BlueArc capabilities. Moving swiftly on. Anyone seen this? Yeah, a few people. Yeah. So gaming is also big for BlueArc. And what we actually do is we have a lot of gaming studios that use us for rendering. So you switch on, you start loading up games, all of the rendering and the real-time playback is actually stored on BlueArc and we'll use from that one. The good thing about it is I'm sometimes allowed to go around these gaming studios, I'm a bit nosy, and I start to see some of the new releases coming out. It's absolutely incredible. Everybody's about 3D gaming. Yeah? Has anyone done any 3D gaming? Yes? What do you think? Pretty good. Yeah? Call of Duty 55 might be in 3D, I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. Everybody's talking about 3D stereoscopic in gaming. The most important thing about 3D stereoscopic stuff in gaming is rendering the scenes. If you have fast storage to render it, I can get the game to market and I can make money. That's what it's all about. The other thing that's quite interesting, I'm going to cover off to finalise today's session, is transferring files. Who owns a USB key? USB. Happy to USB. 2 gig. Anybody beat 2 gig? Anybody else? 8 gig? 32. Hey, nice, nice. I like a bit of 32 gig. And what do you use it for, sir? Yeah, sharing files. You think, oh, I won't stick it on the internet, it's slow. I won't actually put it on an Ethernet, there's no networking between 2 machines. I'll stick it on a USB key, I've got a backup, and I'll also share some files with you. Yeah? So that doesn't work for big studios. They need to move assets around the globe for different parts of their workflow. So they use a technology called Aspera. It's a bit like a little FTP or a FTP one. And they use BlueArc as data storage in these locations, and they will replicate their data around the globe, 2 or 3 copies, and they use Aspera for that. You're not guys not see that? It's really bad slides. You see that? No. Okay, well, we'll wrap up. Basically, what this slide shows you is lots of lines pointing to different parts of the world. And basically what it has is different things, different jobs and tasks that go on at remote locations. They might have a rendering station or a rendering set of boxes out in New York. They might have their compositors stuck here in London doing work. They might have their advertising team working in a different part of Paris. Each one needs to share and look at that data. So they can use this type of technology quickly to move the data around and reduce bottlenecks. Okay? USB keys, even a 32 gig one or a 64 gig one, aren't big enough for movies, trust me. When you get a USB key that's big enough for a movie, they'll be very rich. Moving on. Last one is transcoding. So we talked about this right at the very beginning. We talked about assets on your iPhone or on your BlackBerry or whatever you use. Yeah? Does anyone know what transcoding is? Yeah? It's taking different formats and actually converting them to formats that can be out on television. Remember when we started? We talked about TVs. So they have a different format for the web. Yeah? It's a web TV without them. It uses different formats. Mobiles, I need to get the frame rates down. I need to chop the ends and crop it to get it inside that clip on my mobile phone. What they call playout servers, real-time playout servers. Blu-ray. Yeah, 1080p, different formats, and really coming here is very, very fast to do that. And even real-time transcoding is the next big thing we'll see. That's where if someone goes on, a bit like Apple TV, saying, I want to watch this movie, and it will say, what device do you want to select it, and if it hasn't been transcoded, it will automatically do it on the fly for you, and download it to the latest device. It will all be done in real-time transcoding, because that's coming. Just to be really clear, transcoding has 3 bottlenecks. Yeah, number of CPUs to actually convert the file. Has anyone done any file conversions on their home PC? Yeah? How long does it take? It depends on the file. But an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah? I know my friend was converting all his films for a guy called another day. 3.5 hours later, it was still going at 63%, 64%, and went out down the pub. Came back after a few drinks, 69%. It's illegal running overnight. It's terrible. We've all been there. The network. That's another thing. The speed of your network. If you're on your network, it slows down. That's an issue for transcoding. And probably the last one is storage, and that's where we come in. We can fix it. We have very, very fast storage to allow you to do much faster transcoding. So that's it. We'll just move on. Anyone else Sony? No? I had someone actually say no once. You're the second person. You're the second. Yeah, exactly. So they're an interesting one out in there. They use transcoding. You can take the slide. We had a good chat with Sony, you'll see in a moment. There's some things that they do. They're one of our customers, and they actually use this for transcoding. So again, I'm running out of time here, but I've got things like some examples where they use multi-tiers of disk transcoding. So, so I'm just going to wrap up now. It's 30 minutes. Has anyone got any questions on what we've covered today? Pretty straightforward. Yeah? So to recap, we've covered off very, very quick rendering. We've covered off a bit on transcoding. We've covered off a bit on WAV file transfer even. And we've covered off a little bit around archiving in terms of tiering of storage. And all of these elements are very, very important when you start to actually work with productions. So BlueArc, we do it all, but we do it more significantly robustly, and we do it much more faster than our competition out there. This is probably what we say. We scale to a higher capacity. Yeah, 16 petabytes, that's pretty good. We scale to speeds for rendering, so if you're doing rendering in the future and you're struggling, talk to Blue Arc, and obviously we have a better total cost range. Okay, so thank you very much.